What will the Mariners ALDS roster look like? We'll discuss coming up here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Ahoy, sailors. It is Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. This is Tony Gonzalez and Colby Panhead for the Locked On Mariners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, if you want to hear from me and Colby even more and help support the show, you can check out our Patreon. All you have to do to check that out is click the link in the description of this episode. On the show today, we're talking all about the Mariners ALDS roster. What should it look like? What will it look like? We'll also tell you a little later on what our plan is for the next few days here on the show, so you know what to expect from us as the playoffs kick off. But we're going to start here by talking about what the Mariners ALDS roster should look like. And now, for the most part, it's probably going to be chalk, though there are a couple of interesting discussions to have here, mostly on the pitching side. And it really starts with how many starters are you going to roll with? How many starters are you going to plan to have over the course of the series, especially if it goes the distance, goes 5 games. So we'll see if Brian Wu is healthy. That's still kind of up in the air. That's a big piece to this. But let's just assume that Wu is healthy, that he is going to be able to start either game 2, game 3, what have you. 3 starters or 4, Colby?
Yeah, 4. You're going to carry 4 starters. In game 4, if you get to a game 4, asking, I don't know, whoever's starting the game 1 to go again on the road is a bit risky, especially if you start Luis in game 1, which is a real possibility. Heck, even if you start Logan Gilbert in game 1, it's pretty risky to ask them to go out on the road for a second start. But they're going to go with 4. And obviously, Bryce Miller is the odd man out here. He has been the least consistent of a very inconsistent group out of this Mariners rotation. He has a really good shot for his stuff to play up out of the bullpen, something that cannot be said for like Luis Castillo, for example, or probably can't be said for Luis Castillo. Miller does have some experience coming out of the bullpen in college. He did that for a few years. So he does have some kind of, background in getting hot fast and all of that stuff. He gives you length out of the lineup, and the fastball splitter combo should play very, very well in those mid, maybe even late innings, especially if you have a pocket of right-handed hitters coming up that you want to try and navigate. So if you're going with 4, especially, Wu, dinged up and all that as well, you want to be careful there. You want to have some length out of the bullpen just in case Wu, has to leave a game or whatever. So you're going to carry 4 starters. I think all 5 starters make the playoff roster, but I think only 4 of them are in the quote unquote rotation. And that's probably going to be consistent as long as the Mariners are in the playoffs. They will roll with a 4-man rotation.
So how many pitchers in general should the Mariners carry into the ALDS?
Yeah. So the rules are like they are in the regular season. So the most pitchers you can carry is 13.
Yeah. And by the way, real quick, when they went into the wild card round in 2022 and then the ALDS in 2022, they had 12.
Yes. They should only carry 11.
Okay.
They are probably going to carry 12 would be my guess, but they should only carry 11. You have your 5 starters that take up the 5 spots. And then it really comes down to who do you trust in the bullpen? Well, I don't trust anybody in the bullpen because they're bullpen guys, but you're going to trust Munoz. You're going to trust Brash. You're going to trust Bizzardo and Spire. So those are 4 no-brainers. That gives you 9, which leaves you 2 spots. And you start going like, okay, well, Ferguson probably, almost certainly has to. He's got playoff experience. He's the second lefty. So Ferguson is the 10th guy. And after that, is there somebody you're just rushing to put on this playoff roster? Like, oh, we have to give this guy leverage innings. No, because after that, your options are, Casey Legumina and Emerson Hancock and Carlos Vargas, not Trent Thornton. That'd be fun. But Troy Taylor, like Austin Kitchens. They didn't add Gregory Santos to the taxi squad, which leads me to believe he's not an option anyways. So,
Yeah.
like, I would do 10 if you could, but I mean, that seems a bit ridiculous. You don't need a 7-man bench, but I think you can get more creative with that extra bench spot than you can with the extra bullpen add. So think I personally would add Hancock to be the 11th pitcher over Vargas, but it's between those two guys. It kind of has to be between those two guys.
Yeah. Do you have a roster written out?
Yes.
Yeah, I have one as well. Let's see if they line up. So mine is the starters: Wu, Kirby, Gilbert, Castillo. Bullpen is Munoz, Spire, Brash, Bizzardo, Ferguson, Miller. I'm going with Vargas, but it could be Hancock as well. Vargas has been Dan Wilson's. Yeah, Vargas has been Dan Wilson's favorite toy this year, so I just can't imagine he gets left off the roster. But we'll see.
Well, I think ultimately they both will make the roster.
Yeah, and we'll get into that later on.
Yeah.
3 catchers: Raleigh, Garver, Ford.
Yep.
Infielders: Naylor, Polanco, Suarez, Crawford, Rivas. I'm going Ben Williamson here.
Same.
No, I think they won't go in that direction. We'll talk about that a little later on. But I'm going Ben Williamson for late game third base defense. Mm-hmm. After, hopefully you have a lead and, Gino's had his last at bat of the night. I'm going Williamson. I'm putting him out there.
Yeah.
Then in the outfield, I'm going Julio, Randy, Dom Canzone, Victor Robles, Luke Raley, and Samad Taylor. Yeah. For base running purposes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the last roster spot is really the one that's up for debate here because it could be Cole Young, it could be Samad Taylor, it could be Miles Mastrobuoni.
So my question is, what does Cole Young bring to the table?
Well, he's a better defender than Jorge Polanco, but you might have that covered with Rivas. But Rivas is also your backup shortstop. So if something happens to JP, you don't really have a backup second baseman. Although Samad Taylor has played there before. So if you're going with him, then that is also probably checked. Same with Mastrobuoni. But Cole Young is a guy who gives you a quality at bat. He didn't play for like 2 months, for like 2 weeks straight. And
is Mastrobuoni on your roster?
No, he's for my last bench spot, I have 3 guys that I'm considering. It's Mastrobuoni, it's Taylor, and it's Young. And I do think part of this is who are you playing? Because if you're playing like Detroit, and you have to face Skubal a couple times, you might prefer Samad Taylor to the 2 lefties because he's a righty. Now that's a very niche, situation. You're probably not going to use that player anyways. The Mariners don't have a ton of platoons that they deploy any longer, so it's probably not going to come into play here. But it might matter, might make enough of a difference because Samad Taylor is the only right-handed hitter in that trio. So that's something that could come into play here. Cole Young is probably the best overall player, although he's really struggled recently, although he also has been given a lot of playing time. So it's kind of tough there. Also, is there something about like wanting to give him the playoff experience? Because maybe there is. Harry Ford is up here for the whole month of September to kind of give him this experience so that when he's added to the playoff roster, which we know he's going to be, the Mariners are going to carry 3 catchers. You lock that down. That's written in stone. Yeah. But yeah, I think Cole Young is really on the borderline here because I think the thing that Miles Mastrobuoni has going for him is that he can also play the outfield. And that's something Samad Taylor has going for him as well. Those 2 guys can also play second base. Mastrobuoni's played third base. And Taylor and Mastrobuoni can play the outfield. Cole Young's pretty much locked in as a second base only guy. So his quality of at bat, that quality of the at bat you think you're going to get from him, has to be so much higher than Mastrobuoni or Taylor because Taylor and Mastrobuoni have more versatility. They're better base runners. They have more speed. And if Cole Young could play shortstop, if I felt confident that he could play shortstop, I think he'd would give him the tiebreaker alone. But the arm strength is a real thing this year for some reason. And yeah, it's one of those things. I got 3 players there for that last spot. And I think Young might be the 3rd player in that regard. So I'm not 100% sure where they go. And again, it might matter. They look at Detroit and say, oh, they got all these lefties. Let's go with Samad Taylor. Fine. If it's Cleveland and they're worried about, hey, who's going to face Hunter Gaddis if we really need him to? I mean, these guys probably aren't getting an at-bat. So it doesn't really matter all that much. So it kind of comes down to defensive versatility and base running. Yeah. And so I think Taylor has a real shot here to make this roster did Samad Taylor play a game for the Mariners this year? I can't remember. Like I know Ryland Thomas did.
He was up. He was up for I think a couple of games at least.
So and Taylor stole something like 45 bags in the minors this year. So there is that element to it.
I think he set the Rainier's record.
The career Rainier's record, I believe.
Career Rainier. Yeah.
But anywho, I think it's one of those guys. Really didn't give any consideration to Ryland Thomas. I know he's on the taxi squad. Didn't really give any consideration to Colt Emerson. Again, I know, but I think it's three guys for one spot. And if I had to guess right now, I would say Samad Taylor has the advantage. And if I were writing out the roster, like I got to pick, I think I'd probably pick Miles Mastrobuoni, just because I've seen him, play pretty regularly with the Mariners. He gives you a good at bat. He can play multiple positions. I kind of trust him because I've seen him, but that specialty, that little niche of like, hey, we need a big stolen base here. Robles is already in the game. Like Canzone's at first. Samad Taylor is more likely to steal that bag. So it really comes down
Samad Taylor to me is the what's the guy's name that used to play for the Royals?
Terrence Gore.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the role I envision for Samad Taylor here.
Sure. I don't know if he's quite that good, but
no, but that's essentially what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
Like he is a stolen base specialist. Like that is his role on this specific roster.
And we should be clear about this. This specific this specific roster spot, this, for us, if we're going with 11 pitchers, this, 15th man, if he's getting an at bat, something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
So
if I was writing out this roster, I wouldn't put a position next to this guy's name, right? I'd just put a star there.
Yeah.
Right.
Runner.
Basically. And that's why I didn't even consider Cole Young for a second.
No, I think the Mariners are going to consider Cole Young, but I think he's probably on the outside looking in.
Yeah, it's just the arm strength has been a bit of a problem. I think that at least is somewhat linked to the elbow thing that he was dealing with in spring training. That's just me trying to connect the dots. That's not what I've heard or anything like that. Right. So I don't necessarily see the value in him from a defensive standpoint. There are better base runners that I can consider here. And ideally, he's not taking a single at-bat. Something has gone completely wrong if Cole Young is taking an at-bat in the series.
Right. It's worth noting that you can add players in the middle of a series if there is an injury. So if Leo Rivas gets dinged up or JP Crawford, can't play, then you can add a guy like Cole Young. And so, it makes sense. I'll say that Cole Young's got more power than the other two. But again, it's kind of like, is he going to get an at-bat? Probably not. I'm
not pinch hitting Cole Young.
You might be surprised, but probably not. It's very hard to work up a scenario where like that's your best option to take a swing.
Again, something has gone very wrong.
Right, but if that's the role of this player, then like Miles Mastrobuoni, kind of the same. Like he's not better defensively than anybody else you would have on this roster at any spot late in the game. Whereas Cole Young might be better at second base. Like Cole Young at second base and Leo Rivas at at shortstop late in the game is probably the best you can do defensively out of everybody we've mentioned here. So will the Mariners actually bench JP Crawford for defense? I highly doubt it, which they should, but I doubt they will. Just like I kind of doubt that they'll bench Gino for defense, even though they really should. And Williamson is a great add to do that with, because it's not just going from okay to good. You're going from below average to like elite at a premier defensive position. And late in the game, when you're hugging that line and you're trying to prevent doubles, you need range out of your corner infield guy, and Williamson's got it, and Gino just doesn't. So
yeah, I mean, Ben Williamson literally won you a game with his glove in Sacramento this year. So, yeah.
Also, by the way, you should strongly consider taking Randy Arozarena out of the game. Randy and that whole left side of the field, those three players, they should all be replaced late defensively if you're up. But will they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of doubt
I don't
it.
know. We'll see. All right. So what will the roster ultimately look like? What do we think it's going to ultimately look like? We'll go over that in just a moment. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. FanDuel makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to Sundays. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. For instant reactions following every Mariners playoff game, be sure to tune in to the Mariners postcast with Anderson Hurst and Christopher Crawford, available on both the Locked On Mariners YouTube and podcast feeds. So when we wake up on Saturday and the Mariners have announced their ALDS roster, what do you think it's going to look like?
3 catchers, Cal, Mitch, and Harry.
Yep.
Infielders will be Naylor, Polanco, Crawford, Suarez, Rivas, and I think Williamson still makes the cut, but they could go either way there. Outfielders are going to be Randy, Julio, Victor, Dominic Canzone. And for now, Luke Raley, although I feel like Raley could be a surprise omission just because he's not the first lefty off the bench, right? That's probably going to be Canzone. Now, Canzone's in the lineup, obviously, blah, blah, blah. But you know, he's a good base runner, but he's not a base stealer. He's got pop, but he hasn't really hit for power this year. He's a really good bunter. Hopefully they don't bunt ever. It worked out great for the Red Sox last night, though. Boy, I'll tell you. But I do think Raley still gets on. And then, so yeah, I think it's Cal, Mitch, Harry, Naylor, Polo, JP, Gino, Randy, Julio, Robles, Canzone, Raley, Rivas, and Williamson, I think. Now, Williamson, again, it kind of goes to, do you want the elite third base defense or do you want the plus base running from Samad Taylor? That's what I think it comes down to. And for me, I think I would rather have the defense. But you know, that's a toss-up. The pitching staff would be Wu, Kirby, Logan, Luis, Miller, Munoz, Brash, Bizzardo, Spire, Hancock, Ferguson, and Vargas.
Yeah. So we are in agreement on 25 of the 26 spots. I think it's going to be Mastroboni over Williamson. I think they trust Mastroboni to just kind of do a little bit of everything, right? Sure. I think he's like the guy that you put on the roster if you need to, replace Polo, or if you need to replace Gino, or if you want a better base runner out there. Like, he offers a little bit of everything. And if his turn through the order does come around and he does have to take an at bat, hopefully not, but if he does have to take an at bat, he's at least shown the ability over the course of this year to, work counts, maybe work a walk, at least foul off some pitches, frustrate the opposing pitcher. Yeah. So,
yeah, I think you just don't want to give up on your meme opportunity that we set up earlier this year.
Oh, yeah.
It got so close to happening a couple times.
The
so close.
Yeah. So close.
If he does it in the postseason, whoo boy. But
we'll always have that Crawford box home run.
Yeah.
I literally forgot that happened until just now, by the way.
Yeah. Again, I'd probably prefer the elite third base defense. That is such an important position.
I do too, by the way. I think they're going to go with Mastroboni. I think they just
that's what I was thinking,
to do a bit more stuff.
That's why I was thinking they might not add Raley to the roster. Particularly if they do face Detroit. Like if they're planning on, seeing Skubal twice. Rayleigh's not going to play in those games, almost certainly.
And then there's Tyler Holton coming out of the bullpen. What's the other guy's name?
Herder.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's going to be many opportunities. I do like Rayleigh as a late game defensive replacement out in left field in particular, or right field, depending on what Victor and Canzone are doing that day. The lineup would probably be an interesting discussion too, versus defense versus offense. But yeah, I think there's a shot that Rayleigh just might not be given that many opportunities. Like, he's not going to play over Canzone. We know that by now. He's the backup first baseman, but Miles Mastrobuoni can play first base too. So you can carry him. So I wonder if, because Mastrobuoni can also play the infield, and he's just going to give you slightly better at bats against lefties. I mean, Rayleigh doesn't look helpless against lefties. It's just the production is the production, and it's not there. And Rayleigh's been start-stop all year. The one nice thing about Luke, though, is that if you do get into a situation, you're down 3-2 in the ninth, Will Vest is on the mound, and Robles is on first. And Mitch Garver is coming up. Like, Luke Rayleigh against the righty can end that game much more likely than Garver can. So it's kind of, do you want to carry him for that one potential swing, or do you want to be like, look, he's definitely not starting at least 2 or 3 of these games. So that's why I think Rayleigh could be kind of a surprise omission. But I think because he can play all 3 outfield spots, because he can stand at first base, and because he does have tremendous raw power off the bench, I think he ultimately does make it regardless of who the opponent is.
He's also the best bunter on the team, and we know they're going to bunt.
I mean, to be fair, is there another good bunter on the team, or is he the best by default? Like, he's good at it, don't get me wrong, but like, who's the second best bunter on this team, Ty? It sadly might be Victor Robles, who usually needs 3 attempts to get it down. When's the last time Victor got a first pitch bunt down? Never.
The only bunt attempt that is in my brain right now from Victor Robles is the one that he popped up against, I forget who.
We know Polo sucks at it.
I think it was the Cardinals.
JP sucks at it. Dylan Moore's not even here, but I'm going to take a shot at him. Dylan Moore is the worst bunter I've ever seen in my life. You're never going to ask Julio. You're never going to ask Randy or Cal or Naylor. You can trust Harry Ford to get a bunt down. It's almost like you just shouldn't bunt. Ask Alex Cora how he's feeling about bunting right now. So, it's one of those things. How much is that going to come into play? I don't know. But, again, I think Rayleigh will make it regardless of the opponent. But I just think if they're playing Detroit, there might be a little less incentive to carry that lefty bench player, and maybe they go with more speed and a right-handed bench player like Samad Taylor. So just keep that in mind. But I feel pretty good about what the roster is going to look like. I feel like we have a rough idea. Maybe one spot truly up for grabs, in my opinion.
Maybe they would consider Luke Jackson over Hancock, but I don't know. I just feel like they've made this tweak with Hancock. The stuff played up really well. The stuff played up really well because of it against the Rockies, but stuff is stuff, right? Like, the stuff was really good.
It's still a 60 grade sweeper and 95 miles an hour from that low arm slot up and in. Like, that's going to be a problem for right-handed hitters. So I think Hancock makes it. I don't think that's too up in the air. So I think the bullpen, like, if they carry 12 arms and Wu is healthy, I think it's chalk. I don't really think there's anything up in the air there. I think they just drop Jackson. And they drop I can't remember who the other guy was.
Whoever was in that spot.
Well, they dropped the last.
Well, they replaced Logan Evans with Mastrobuoni, so there technically wasn't.
So they only
even
carried the one actually. So Evans isn't going to make it. I guess the surprise pitcher who could make it would be Michael Fulmer. Who I believe has some playoff experience.
No, he hasn't. Never has.
Never really.
With the Cubs? I looked it up.
Okay.
Never
Well,
pitched in the playoffs.
either way, I think he might
But
be.
he's a veteran. He's pitched in a lot of
Right.
games.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly was surprised they went with Luke Jackson over him the first time. I don't think Luke Jackson is making the playoff roster, though. So, yeah, I guess, if you're looking for a surprise on both sides, I would say Fulmer might be the surprise pitcher. Offensively, I don't see any path for Ryland Thomas, short of an injury.
It's like I would rather have Rayleigh than Ryland Thomas.
Yeah,
and you're
absolutely.
not adding him over any of the other outfielders, obviously.
No. I mean, and again, he doesn't make more sense than Samad or Mastroboni or even Cole Young because of how you already have your outfield, and he can't do anything but play the outfield. I guess Colt Emerson kind of by default would be the surprise offensive player to make.
That would be crazy.
Roster.
That would be crazy.
It would, but I mean, the Guardians started a rookie center fielder, and they won that game. Although, granted, his first opportunity to make a play did not go well. But I don't think Emerson would be like in the lineup or anything. So maybe that's.
But the Mariners are not really in a position where they need to take a shot like that. Their bench guys just need to be guys that they trust, guys that they have clear, defined rules for.
You need somebody who can come off the bench and hit a home run versus a lefty, Garver. You need somebody who can do it versus a righty, Rayleigh. You need speed, Robles. You need infield defense, Rivas. You need outfield defense, Rayleigh or Robles, depending on who's available at the time.
Yeah.
You need that third catcher so that in case Garver's DHing one day and they bring in a righty, you can take him out and not have fear for not having a catcher. That's Harry. Like everybody has a role, and they're for the most part, they're very niche roles. But that's kind of the point. And the Mariners have all those boxes checked.
All right, so we are going to wrap things up here, tell you a little bit about what's to come on the show over the next few days in just a moment. But first, a reminder, this episode of the Locked On Mariners podcast is brought to you by PrizePicks and Gametime. This episode of Locked On Mariners is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right means cashing in. With football back, PrizePicks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes, all in less than 60 seconds. It's quick, easy, and a great way to follow along with football. Download the PrizePicks app today and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. There's nothing like catching a baseball game live. The energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person. But actually getting tickets, that's the tough part. Queues, login screens, surprise fees. Ugh, it takes all the fun out of it. That's why I use Gametime, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Gametime is fast, easy, and backed by the Gametime guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you get. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. And you're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. So we are waiting on the winner of the Guardians Tigers series, game 3, today at noon Pacific time. Hopefully that game goes like 24 innings. It'd be great. Hopefully they don't wrap that game up until it is dark out in Cleveland. But we will know finally who the Mariners are playing in the ALDS, and we will finally be able to preview that series tomorrow. So, that's going to be what tomorrow's show is all about. And then we'll find out what time the Mariners are playing on Saturday, depending on if the Red Sox or the Yankees win. Again, I don't know why that matters.
I don't.
Do you have a wild guess?
I don't. I'm just going to say go Red Sox.
Okay.
For personal reasons.
Ooh, okay. I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
For
Do you
reasons
remember?
that do not matter to me whatsoever in terms of like who the Mariners might have to face. I don't care from that angle.
Do you remember which result leads to which time?
Yeah, the Yankees win. The Mariners will play at 5 on Saturday.
Okay.
If the Red Sox win, the Mariners will play at 1 on Saturday. The game on Sunday is locked into the, I believe, 5:38 time slot, no
Yeah.
matter what. But yeah,
Yeah.
the Red Sox win, you get an earlier game on Saturday. If the Yankees win, you get the second to last game on Saturday.
Gotcha. Also, what's with the 08-38 thing in the playoffs?
I don't know. It's something about like they don't they like do like the opening day thing where they like announce the roster one by one and you go and you stand on the foul line and they do the national anthem and
Oh, yeah.
all that. Then
Yeah.
they like to get their
Yeah.
establishing shots of the crowd waving the towels or whatever.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. So yeah. I mean,
But why
I don't know.
not
It's
just like 540? Why not,
I mean, yeah,
510?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know, man.
Weird.
It's
Yeah.
also something to do with spacing, I guess, probably. I don't know.
Sure.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's 2 minutes, you know.
And also like, why is it dependent on the Red Sox or the Yankees? They're both insanely popular. They're both going to play the same team in Toronto. They're both East Coast teams. Like, what are we doing? Anyway, whatever. So yeah, so we'll find out everything tonight, and then we'll attack all of that on the show tomorrow. I'm also planning on talking to Stacey Joe Ross again from 710 Seattle Sports. Loved having Stacey on a couple months ago, so I'm gonna visit with her. I'm not sure if that's going to be on tomorrow's episode or maybe I'll just drop it on Saturday morning before the game. I'll figure that out and you guys will find out here in a couple days. Colby is going to the game on Saturday. Dox and Colby real quick. He's going to the game on Saturday. So Ben Ranieri of Sea Level and I are going to be doing the post-game show on Saturday after the game. And obviously Anders and Chris are going to be doing their postcast as well. Our post-game show, Ben and I's, will come out a little later on after that. And then Sunday, Colby will be back and we'll do the post-game show together on Sunday. And then, Mailbag Monday. We're not taking any days off here during the playoffs, so long as there's, games. So, yeah. So that's what you have to look forward to here. And then Tuesday is game 3, right? So we'll do a post-game show after that one, of course. Just if there's a game, we're doing a post-game show after. So just expect that. So that's about it. I guess to wrap up here, after watching these 2 games between the Guardians and Tigers, Colby, do you have a preference now?
No,
you're still just like, give me whoever.
You're better than both of these teams. It also doesn't matter that you're better than both of them. And like I said, they both have points and counterpoints. Do you want to face Scooble twice? Absolutely not. Do you really want to test the Guardians version of Chaos Ball with the heater that they're on and their bullpen that they can throw at you? Not ideal, but I don't know. It went to 3 games. Like, these 2 teams did their job. Now, for an added bonus, if they could play 18 innings tonight, that would be great. That'd be cherry on top. But I really don't care. Again, you're better than both of these teams. You should beat both of these teams. But it's the playoffs, man. Anything can happen, regardless of who you play. I mean, put the Colorado Rockies in a tournament, they're probably 2-Q. But you put the Marlins in a tournament like this, they might make a run. It's totally possible. So it's just one of those things. Who you play doesn't really matter all that much. It just matters how well you play. I don't have a strong preference either way. Again, I have more of a rooting interest in Yankees Red Sox because I have a specific time I want that game on Saturday to start because it makes my commute easier. So selfishly, go Red Sox. But also, do I ultimately care if the Yankees win? No, I don't. You're not going to see them until the LCS at best. So I don't really care about the outcomes of any of these games. But just to curse a couple of teams, I guess, I'll say go Guardians, go Cubs, and go Red Sox.
There you go. Go Cubs. Why go Cubs?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to face San Diego's bullpen in the World Series, I guess. I don't know.
Already thinking that far ahead, huh?
Well, I was trying to think, okay, is it likely the Dodgers beat the Phillies in the divisional round? No. So the odds of me getting Padres Dodgers to go to the World Series, pretty slim. Brewers Cubs in a 5-game series, that's kind of cool. So I guess for that reason, go Cubs. But I really don't care.
All right. So yeah, we'll talk about the series tomorrow. We'll have a start time, all that good stuff. So talk to you guys then. That's going to do it for our show. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. For Colby Patnode, I'm Titan Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at LO_Mariners. You can follow me at Titan Gonzalez, Colby at CPAT11, that's CPAT11. We're also on Blue Sky. You can follow me at TDG, Colby at MLB Colby, and the show at Locked On Mariners. You can also find us on Instagram at Locked On Mariners. Have yourself a beautiful baseball day, and we'll see you next time. Peace.